I will always continue to buy JASMY even despite this price pullback and even for the foreseeable future, because not only is $1 my price target for JASMY during this bull run, but I do believe that JASMY is this amazing project that's not going to disappear when the hype or fans are gone. And even though nothing I say is financial advice, I do believe that JASMY has brighter days ahead. And more specifically, even in 2025, $1 really wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. But here's the thing. The fundamentals of JASMY, I think, is going to allow it to stay for a very long time. Now, some people may think, okay, JASMY is this caca project that's focused on some random nonsense, but I completely disagree with that. If Luna Classic can make it this far, if it can actually survive until this long, well, basically being complete caca and useless, why can't JASMY be around for the long haul? Especially when we consider how the market that it's focused on, the data storage market, it really hasn't gained this traction yet. Now, when it comes to data storage in general, let's say nothing related with like cryptocurrencies or anything like that, the market is already massive, but I think it's about time this market does shift towards the decentralization, because after all, this is the natural evolution in my opinion. Decentralization brings a lot more benefits, less, of course, of this data potentially being controlled by a single entity, also more freedom, I would argue, when it comes to data storage. And also, not to mention as well, no longer will there be allegedly these multiple single points of failures. So with something this revolutionary, it's only fair to assume that, it could not only just be a big narrative during this bull run, but I think even for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years down the line, this is still going to be something that I think naturally is going to continue in terms of adoption. And I think JASMY is going to go along with the ride. JASMY is pretty much one of the pioneers. When all the other projects out there were focused on some random caca nonsense, making meme coins. I'm not saying all of them are bad. I'm bullish on some of them, but some other projects, they were focusing on NFTs, DeFi. You know what? JASMY still focused on data storage. That right there, I think, is such a genius move, because of course they understand that, hey, each market, it's going to have its time to shine. There's going to be a time where eventually JASMY does gain traction. We're seeing a glimpse of that as of right now. There's a slight pullback. People are panicking, but for me, I'm not panicking, because if I've been through that caca nonsense back in early 2023, what happened in the beginning of 2024, when everyone thought that, oh wow, JASMY's caca and all this, then suddenly JASMY had a good pump, a pullback, then it had a pump again. Now it's having a pullback, but I've been saying throughout this whole time that the journey to the top, it's not going to be smooth sailing. Like JASMY's not going to have this skyrocket all the way to $1 without any pullbacks. That'd be crazy. That's highly unrealistic in my opinion. And even, of course, as of right now, we're seeing how that is not realistic. Throughout history, we've seen, time and time again, even like Bitcoin not having this straight shot. It takes time. Not only that, there's going to be multiple pullbacks along the way, but I'm prepared for that because I am dollar cost averaging. This way, I remove all of the anxiety, all of the emotions, all of the, worrying, all of the nervousness from investing. At least personally for me, I can't speak on anyone's behalf, but here's the way I do it. Anytime an income, I acquire something like JASMY. Now, why do I do that? Because that way, I won't get overtaken by my emotions, in a sense that if I see the price going down, I'll be like, wow, okay, this is time to go all in. I may just randomly dump all in if I'm overtaken by my emotions. Then what happens? Let's say that is not the bottom, and then the price goes lower, then what happens? Then it's like, wow, I can accumulate more on the dip, and then I could end up getting, stressed out, and then I might panic sell. Who knows, right? Which is why I don't want to do that. But on the flip side, if let's say the price is pumping, I may think, oh yeah, I'll go all in because I think the price is going to go up. Then suddenly there's a pullback, like what we're seeing right now to a certain extent. Then what happens? Also, that can cause bad emotions to happen, which is why I dollar cost average. So again, anytime an income I'm acquiring, I'm holding and I'm just waiting, because that way the price is dumping, the price is pumping, I'm going to still accumulate anyways. That way, I'm able to stay in the game long term. I'm not overtaken by my emotions. And instead of being focused on a certain price point, what I'm focused on is just accumulation. So that right there is why I do believe that it's just a much better strategy for me. So I'm focusing on being able to accumulate more instead of focusing on the price. And I think that's all that matters, because let's face it, in day-to-day life, there's so many things to think about. There's this going on, whatever going on. It's just too much of an emotional investment to look at charts and then draw some random triangle and be like, oh yeah, this is the time to go all in. I don't want to do that. Anytime an income, boom, acquire it. And just quite essentially focus on the fundamentals, focus on the long term, focus on accumulation instead of focusing on random price movements, which could be very volatile. So I don't want to do that, which is why, again, I like to keep a very simple strategy. That's the way I view it. I even cut my own hair. That's how simple I am. But yeah, even besides that point, when I take a look at JASMY, right, sometimes people like to say, oh, the community is bad, but I disagree. Community is very passionate, very vocal. They're very, caring about the project. And I do really like that because it showcases how they're actually in it more so for the long term, as opposed to these other projects where the community feels like they don't really want to be there. Not to mention, when I take a look at JASMY, it is often considered as the Bitcoin of Japan because it is the first ever legally compliant cryptocurrency in the country of Japan. It's not necessarily like literally the Bitcoin of Japan, at least that's the way I view it. But again, because it is the first ever legally compliant cryptocurrency there, many people often do consider it that. And I think that's a cool name, Not to mention, you take a look at the JASMY, logo, the color is very similar to Bitcoin. So yeah, but even besides that point, when I take a look at JASMY, it's an amazing project. It's listed in a bunch of major exchanges. I think this could be so amazing during this bull run, but it's just a waiting game. I think 2024 was a small taste of what's to come, but I think 2025 could be the real deal. Reaching $1 at that point, I really wouldn't see why not. When you have more cryptocurrency owners than ever before in history, according to Crypto.com research, over 500 million as we speak. I think this bull run could be so amazing. We're seeing a glimpse of that with Bitcoin, but imagine, right, once the Bitcoin dominance drops, once a lot of people start, gaining better sentiment when it comes to altcoins, once more people understand just how special altcoins are, man, I think we could very well see that altcoin season go into fifth gear fully. Now, we're not there yet. When it comes to altcoins, I still think we're in second gear when it comes to the bull run, again, just more so for altcoins, but imagine once it gets into third gear, fourth gear, and fifth gear, $1 for JASMY, I don't see why not. And oftentimes we see the growth of projects be very exponential. Like for instance, I think it's going to be kind of difficult for JASMY to go to the price of like 20 cents. However, let's say from the 20 cent mark to 50 cents, I think it's going to be a lot easier. I think it could happen very fast at that point. And I think going from 50 cents to $1, it may seem very, rapid, right? And the reason for that is because when we've seen throughout history, ADA, Cardano's native token, hovering around 3 cents, was doing caca, going to the price of $1 was kind of difficult. But then $1 to $2, that was so easy. And then $2 to $3, it felt like a breeze. So when I take a look at JASMY, I don't see why the same thing won't happen. History doesn't always repeat itself. However, it tends to rhyme. I think we're seeing a glimpse again of what altcoins could be, but I think better days are ahead. Some people out there, they're happy with like a 4x, a 5x, and then they cash out. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. I can't speak on anyone's behalf, but personally for me, I feel like the real party begins after the 10x point. So if something hasn't done a 10x, hypothetically, why would I think that anything is even really getting started or cooking? Because, if I was looking for like a 4 or 5x, I'd be in stocks, but I don't want to do that. I'd much rather be in the world of cryptocurrencies because I do like the hypothetical upside. And again, when it comes to JASMY reaching $1 and having a market cap at that point, considering current circulating supply of $50 billion, which is over $30 billion less than Dogecoin's all-time high market cap, I don't see why not during this bull run. $1 may not seem like it has the best upside, but because of this price dump, so to speak, this pullback, it is now around a 30x from here. Not the best upside, but again, considering how much JASMY has been up in the grand scheme of things, doesn't seem so bad in my opinion. And could JASMY go lower in price? Maybe. But I'll still accumulate anyways because $1, that's still my price target during this bull run. And make sure to subscribe if you gain value from this video. I'd greatly appreciate it. It's been Lee the Captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.